This video is sponsored by PhoneTrans, the best way to transfer your files to a new phone. For the first time in the history of Google making Pixel phones, which is not a long history, this year Google went with a mid-range chip on its flagship phone. Now this allows it to sell this phone cheaper for just $700. But right now, in 2021, should you buy the Pixel 5 even with a bit of a discount, or are there better options around? Let's dive in and start with the things that I like about the Pixel 5. And first of all, it's really the design. This phone is just the right size. It's very compact, easily fits in a pocket, it's easy to operate with one hand, and it's just a joy to use. The material here is mostly metal with a bit of a cutout, an invisible cutout that allows for wireless charging, which is a very neat extra. Now, one of the biggest complaints about last year's Pixel 4 was about its battery life. It was truly horrible. The phone just couldn't last even a full day without going to the charger. And thankfully, Google has fixed that in the Pixel 5. Here the battery really lasts a long time. It lasts more than a day for me, sometimes even 2 days. Great job on this front. What I also love about the Pixel 5 is its display. The display here is of course of the OLED kind, but what I like is the colors. The colors are brilliant. The whites are very nicely balanced. Colors look vibrant, yet without being overly vivid. This screen just looks nice from all angles. And last but not least, I like the software. It's a clean version of Android the way Google envisions it, without any bloatware or any apps that would get in the way. So it's just clean Android, and of course it will also get software updates for years to come. It will be first in line for Android software updates. But here is where the good stuff ends, and we have to talk about the best stuff. And the best stuff about the Pixel 5 is something that I get to notice more and more the more I use it. And that is that mid-range chip. The Pixel 5 runs on the Snapdragon 765 chip, which is a step below the flagship Snapdragon 8 series of chips. This might not seem like a huge downgrade. After all, the Pixel 5 does have a 90Hz fast refresh rate, which is nice to have. But in your daily use, especially if you switch from a flagship, you will notice that the Pixel stutters every here and there, and it's not like you don't notice this. It happens in the browser, and it happens actually quite often. Considering that this is a flagship phone, for me this is unacceptable. I've come to expect great speed of a modern flagship phone. The Pixel 5 kind of lets me down on quite a few occasions. So this experience that is not always smooth is definitely a huge letdown, and something that I'm more annoyed the more I use the Pixel. And the other thing is that surprisingly, for a pure Android phone, this phone is kind of buggy. Now there are different sorts of bugs that appear every here and there. For example, on the lock screen you often see a back button, which is just weird, but there are other bugs as well, and this phone just doesn't feel as refined as you would expect from a flagship Android phone. Now for example, even last year's Google Pixel 4 XL seemed to do much better avoiding those software bugs. Another thing that I have to talk about is the cameras. Pixel phones used to be the cream of the crop of the camera game. They had excellent image quality, good video quality, great all around. This year the Pixel 5 still has a great camera, but others have caught up. And you can see this in various images from Samsung phones, iPhones with their new night mode, and others. But what I really want to talk about here is that the main camera has that nice high dynamic range that gives images that rich pixel styled look, and I appreciate that. But what I really do miss is that you don't get a telephoto zoom camera. And that might not sound like a huge omission, you don't get to use it every day, but it is especially noticeable when you're trying to take a portrait, or if you have kids, for example, you want to take a picture of your kid at a baseball game, or something where an object is far away from the camera. You need that telephoto camera for a better clarity of the photos, and you don't get it on the Pixel 5, and admittedly many other phones in this price range offer a 2x zoom camera or 3x zoom camera, so I'm really puzzled by Google not including this one feature, and it's actually behind the pack when it comes to zoom quality compared to many other phones. There's one more thing that I'm not happy about with the Pixel 5, and that's the pricing. Google sells 3 phones this year. It sells the budget Pixel 4a for $350. It sells the Google Pixel 4a 5G for $500, and then you have the Pixel 5 for $700. Now, if you compare the Pixel 4a 5G and the Pixel 5, you'll notice that there are very few differences. They use the same chipset, they have the same camera set. For the most part, it's the same experience. But that phone costs just $500, and it's a justified price for a mid-range Snapdragon 7 series of chips. And I'm a bit disappointed that Google still charges $700 for this phone. This phone is not worth $700. You're far better off getting the Pixel 4a 5G and dealing with a slightly crappier plastic build that you get there. If you can do that one compromise, you'll be much happier with the price of the Pixel 4a 5G. And competition has really stepped up its game. The Galaxy S20 FE is a $550 phone right now that runs on a flagship level Snapdragon 8 series chips. It features 120Hz refresh rate, is blazing fast, it has great battery life, larger screen. The Galaxy S20 FE is a far better option compared to the Google Pixel 5, and it's just a bit puzzling that Google has kind of let us down with the Pixel 5 series this year, and there is no true flagship to please those customers who want that high-end experience. Now, of course, if you like the compact size of the Pixel 5, it's one of very few phones out there that get the sizing right. The compactness, how lightweight this phone, the excellent battery life, and the brilliant screens are all great things going for this phone. But the slightly sluggish performance is definitely a big letdown, and so is the lack of a telephoto camera. And here's a quick word from our sponsor, PhoneTrans, a software that allows you to transfer your data from an old iPhone to a new iPhone or between Android phones in just a few clicks. So once you have the PhoneTrans app running and both your phones connected, you can start the transfer with one of 3 options. Your first option is quick transfer, where you can select specific data to transfer, so you can just transfer your photos or just your contacts or even just your Safari bookmarks. This option works not only between devices on the same platform, but also cross-platform from iPhone to Android and vice versa. The second option is Phone Clone, which you would select if you want to transfer your whole data entirely, down to even small details like even your custom wallpapers and ringtones, which is just super awesome. And finally, you also have the Phone Merge option, which is great if you have already used your new phone a bit and have some content on it. And this way you can still migrate from an old phone but without losing any of the content you already have on your newer device. And what's great is PhoneTrans will automatically skip all the duplicate files. Best of all, using phone transfer to transfer your data is super straightforward and requires no specialized technical knowledge. Everyone, even your grandparents, can do it with just a few clicks. Check out the description box where you will find the link to get the PhoneTrans app right now. So should you buy the Pixel 5 in 2021? I would say that at the current price, no. There are better options around, but let me know if you disagree and what are your reasons for still sticking with the Pixel 5. I'd be curious to read your comments and thoughts about it right below to this video. Meanwhile, thanks for watching. I appreciate you staying until the end. Make sure to subscribe to our channel here, PhoneArena. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed watching it. My name is Vic, this is PhoneArena, and I'll see you around.